everyone, welcome to day 9 of Ark Let's Play. It's a great day for Ark. Today we get the Stegosaur. We knock out the Stegosaur and the Pteranodon and we tame them. And we'll get to use them a little bit. Also, we got the crops growing and they're going to be ready to harvest today. So I'll have vegetables good to go. We also had the poop in the thatch in the compost bin. What are you doing, Emperor? We had the poop in the thatch in the compost bin, and that's going to be turned into fertilizer so I can put those into the crop plots. And this is also the day that I get to use my taming pen on my raft, and I'll be using that to capture and tame the Stegosaurus. So it'll be a good example of how to use the raft and how to get a Stegosaur or whatever else type of dinosaur you're trying to get in there. And I had a little bit of problems. You'll see once we get there. Elixir of the Gods. I hope everybody's enjoying the series. I know I am. It's really a lot of fun recording my gameplay. And, okay, look in the lower left hand corner, admin sheet, save, world. Almost about forgot to point that out. So all I did was I manually saved the game, and if you want to revert back to this save, I'll make a video about it, but you can't actually load it from the game. You have to go into your Steam Apps folder and go into your saved folder from there. I don't know the direct route off the top of my head, but it's in there. And it's titled, for example, I'm playing the island. It'd be titled something like Ark the Island, and that would be in the save file. So I see a level 120 female in the distance. It's going to be a little bit tricky because there's multiple Stegosaurs. So when I go to get the attention of the one that I want to make sure that none of the other Stegosaurs become privy to what I'm trying to do. It's easier to deal with just one dino at a time when you're trying to get him into a taming pen. So, since the last video, I got 3 more subscribers. I think you know who you are. Thank you very much. That's really helping me out here, and not that you necessarily care, but it's helping me build confidence. You know, every time I get a subscriber, it's like, man, that really means a lot, because I do put some effort into these videos. I try to make the gameplay good. You know, I try to make the finished product that I put up on YouTube look nice. Isn't that nice? One of the higher level Pteranodons I've seen, female, lands right on my boat. Just luck. There's no cheat for that. One thing I'm worried about right now when I'm playing the game is that Pteranodon flying off. Potentially flying and then getting knocked out and falling into the water and dying. Because that kind of stuff can happen. Now, if I were shooting that Pteranodon in the head or in the beak with those trank arrows, I probably would have killed it instead of knocking it out. Yep, so you can move around with the tame dino on your raft, no problem. It will kind of move around, might freak you out a little bit, like it's going to fall off or something, but as long as you don't push a boulder into it while you're on the raft, like when the boulder comes through, as long as that doesn't happen, you'll be okay. Just steer clear from shallow areas or exposed land or rocks or anything like that. Spying on that level 230 to make sure it's still there, because that's still the best ankylo I've seen. And I will end up taming that. Maybe, not on this day, but maybe on day 10, I'll get that done. So it would be awfully tricky to get the Stegosaur into the taming pen while that Pteranodon is on that platform. Because if the Stegosaur goes to try and hit me and misses and hits the Pteranodon, that's going to hurt the Pteranodon's taming effectiveness, which you don't want to do. My wife and I started a new Civ 6 file with the new DLC, the Rise and Fall DLC. It got mixed reviews on Steam, but I really like it. It introduces governors that you unlock and can upgrade and deploy to whatever city that you own, and they come with different benefits. I don't know. I just like the more customization, the better. Amber, what are you doing? Come on. I'll never be able to make a professional video. I'm gonna just check something real quick, don't mind me. Ah, as I suspected. Sorry, Ember. You gotta get off of me. I'm such a noob sauce sometimes with all this stuff. We're gonna go like that. Little bit of a OBS tutorial here. Okay. Now that I've tripped everybody out with that infinite window thing, I think that's a little bit better. A little bit more zoomed in. Every once in a while when I'll run into a higher level dino, I'll just not kill it, just in case I want to end up taming it at some point, which I probably won't. Kind of a hoarder that way. Big shot. Yeah, so I'm just kind of killing peripheral Stegosaurs to clear the arena for that level 120 that I want to tame. The less Stegos around, the better. One interesting thing about running away from a dino while it's chasing you and trying to attack you, you gotta be really careful with that when you're fighting alpha predators. I had a max level perfect tame T-Rex, no joke, and I came across an alpha Allosaur is what it was, a pretty high level one, and I didn't have to fight it, but I thought, you know what? I'm pretty sure my T-Rex could take this thing. So I started hitting it, and I wanted to reposition myself. So, and this is where I messed up and where, you know, maybe my mistakes can help you out in the future in this game. I turned to run into a better position so I could turn around and attack the Allosaur from there. But what happened was I turned around and the Allosaur was so fast that it just stayed right behind me, and I couldn't turn around, and it just slowly killed my perfect T-Rex, and there was nothing I could do about it. Not a single thing. I could have maybe jumped off the T-Rex, probably would have died, but jumped off the T-Rex and then you know, whistled him into neutral so that he'd attack the Allosaur back, but I don't even know if the AI could turn around that quickly. And he killed me fairly fast. Allosaur did kill me pretty fast, so I didn't have a whole lot of time to mess around. Thinking back, though, if I would have jumped off the T-Rex and then gotten the Allosaur's attention, my T-Rex might have had a chance to correct itself so that it could at least defend itself. I would have died for sure, but it would have been worth it. And, you know, sometimes just killing yourself in this game is sometimes the best decision. For example, if, let's say you get stranded somehow out in the middle of the mainland and you're trying to make it back to Sanctuary Island and you lost your flyer, and you don't really have all that great a gear on anyway, it's like you might as well just kill yourself and respawn back at the base. Especially if you have the gravestone built, then you can just get all your shit back once you get to your base. And I haven't built a gravestone yet, but I will get around to it. Especially before I go out and start the risky business. I haven't had much risky business yet, but not into the too distant future. I'll be risking more and more. I like to try and play it safe, though. As you can tell, with all my time here at Sanctuary Island, leveling up, preparing, getting my Pteranodon Stegosaurus in line. So right now I have 62 trank arrows, and I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to tame the Stegosaur. I'm not sure. I don't remember if I make more or not. But you'll see, Stegs take quite a few arrows. Trank arrows. Yeah, Ark just came out with this huge new patch yesterday, doing a bunch of texture upgrades on different dinos, and just a ton of different minor things. I went to start the game and, it forced me to update, and I got pretty decent internet. It downloads at 8 megabytes per second, but even at 8 megabytes per second, it took, I don't know, 10-15 minutes to download the whole update. Oh, poor Trike. Soon to be obsolete. I don't know how many of my viewers are realtors, but I've got a real estate class tomorrow that I'm just dreading. It's like, it's not even a mandatory class, but I'm doing it because it's expected of me, I guess. And it's one of those, it's almost like a seminar, but it's all the feel-good stuff. Like, they make all of us stand up and like sing these stupid like little words of encouragement, It's like reading a self-help book for realtors, but in an actual classroom form. I'm sure there's other jobs that require that type of stuff. Not a fan. I've never been a good student. I question too much. Like, they'll try to teach me something, and then I'll be like, well, you know, what if? Especially if the teachers try to get political with anything. Like, I'll call them out on it, and they don't like that. And, I mean, and they try to slip it into what they're saying, so the students don't really notice it. It's not blatant, but subtle. Doesn't get past me. It's like, leave politics out of the classroom, just teach us the subject, for God's sakes. I went to college for a little bit while I was in the Navy, and then I stopped going because I didn't like it. Like, I felt like I could learn more from a YouTube video in 15 minutes than I could, you know, dealing with a classroom setting for, you know, 4 hours a day. Personal preference. Everybody learns differently. My base is so ugly. Rico Suave. Shut that shit off as soon as I can. It won't be so bad if you could shut the meat spoiler music off, or at least lower its volume. Like, whenever you turn it on, it's the loudest thing in the game. Not a fan. That's what happens when modders want to troll. Yeah, part of that new Arc update, they were kind of advertising the Saddle Emporium mod. It kind of sounded like they might be taking that into the game as part of the default game, but right now it's only for several different types of dinos. I think it was the Trike, the Raptor, and maybe one or two other dinos. And the concept is super cool, but I don't think it's worth getting until they expand it for more dinos. And what it is what it is, there's different types of saddles that you can build for your Raptor or your Trike. One of them increases its damage, one increases its carrying capacity, I think one increases its attack damage. So it's a really, really cool mod, but I just think they need to expand it for it'd be worth me getting. And even then, I don't know if I would get it for this Let's Play, but I doubt it will be ready by the time I get so far in the game that, you know, it will definitely be a no-go. The upgrade station mod is a benefit enough, because you can actually upgrade your saddles in it. So that's probably what I'll end up doing. It takes a ton of resources, but when you can take a Mastercraft and turn it into an Ascendant, and then turn it into a blueprint so you can make it multiple times, that's pretty badass, and it's worth every resource that it takes to do it. And I think it's pretty fair. Like, you need a lot of resources to upgrade, and even then, like, the upgrade that you do, there's a certain ratio of success. So it's not like every time you upgrade it, it's gonna be like 100% badass. You might get like a really good upgrade, or it might be an okay upgrade that time. Yeah, so the upgrade station, version 1.8, I think it is, I think is a lot of fun. And a nice addition to the game. So I finally got my Pteranodon. Ascendant Hacky Rhinoceros saddle. I never used that dino. I've gotten it a couple times, but I just don't see the utility in it as all that important. I just wanted to scope out the other Pteranodons just to make sure I got one of the better ones. I didn't want to like get screwed. Kind of like when you buy something and then the next day it goes on sale. It's like, fuck. If I would have just known to wait that extra day. That happens sometimes in art. You just gotta take it on the chin. Alright, so I know what I want. If that Pteranodon weren't sitting on my raft, I would have gone for the Stegosaurus sooner. I just didn't want to compromise its taming effectiveness. So I could have executed this better. You'll see what happens. But the trick is that you want to line up the doorway with what route you think that you can get the dino to come straight in at. And with the Stegosaur, it can be a little difficult because the turn radius is so large. But to add upon that, the Stegosaur's route was kind of glitchy. You'll see what I mean. So I'm getting out, I'm trying to get it away from the raft, and then go around, and then kind of come straight into the gateway so the Stegosaurus has plenty of time to align straight with the doorway. I hope that makes sense. Huh. I really could have gotten hit pretty hard right there. Lucky I didn't. That's a level 190, so it would have done some pretty decent damage. Yeah, Stegosaurs aren't anything to mess with. On PvP, they were being used because they had so much health. And they did quite a bit of damage, so they're pretty popular in PvP for raids. And actually, remember that story I was telling you about the Allosaur, the Alpha Allosaur that ended up killing my badass T-Rex? I went through several other dinosaurs trying to kill the damn thing, and it was a Stegosaur that finally survived and finished it off. And I was so pissed off too, and I don't know if it was just a glitch or something, but I didn't get any EXP for it, or any items or anything. Yeah. Mwah, mwah, mwah. So now I'm trying to realign the door to maybe get a better alignment with the stag. So I'm going to try to lead it up the hill a little bit and then come straight down. The wild dinos can have a hard time getting up the hills, so we'll see what happens here. Really, like, if you can get them on one of the steep hills where they can't climb up at you any further, you could keep tranking them. What's going to happen is you're going to get them so low that they'll actually try to run away. So if I were to have done that, the Stegosaur probably would have ran into the water. and gotten eaten by a megalodon. Sorry, this is kind of frustrating for me to watch. Usually I'm pretty good about getting, you know, kiting dinos in the taming pen. I was feeling the pressure of knowing that this was going to go onto YouTube. Permanent evidence of my failures. Yeah, see, like it's route calculations are tripping out. Don't worry, I'm gonna be getting her in there soon. And another thing is with those S+ gateways, and I haven't done it yet, and it was part of my problem, is you can actually set the delay on it so that once it's opened, you can have it selected to shut in 5 or 10 seconds. So, and that's how I eventually end up fixing this. See, it just shuts. Okay. So right now I'm looking at the gateway. You need to actually look at the door. So set delay, set close delay in the upper left. And you can choose how many seconds, and I chose 10. So, lesson learned. I knew you could do it, I just forgot to do it before I started this. It doesn't help that it's running like an idiot. Yeah, so it kind of seemed like it was running away. Like, that's kind of how they act when you get them to the point where they're almost tranked out. But that's not the case here. It's just being weird. One of the things I could have done to streamline this was to get rid of those trees. Chop down the trees before I tried to bring it straight in. Alright, this is looking promising. And there we go. And it actually turns around and almost gets out. I would have been so bummed. But see, now I got a nice, clear, and easy shot. It's not doing any damage to any of my structures. I could sail out into the ocean with it if I wanted. So now all I gotta do is sit here and trank it down. And the Steg has a lot of health, so you don't have to wait too long in between trank shots. I am aiming primarily for its haunch, you know, its leg. So I'm not doing too much damage, and but I don't think I have to worry about too much. I wouldn't go for just headshots, but yeah, and eventually I'll have the sides of the taming pen going up to the height of the gateway itself. So it's a one large chamber, no chance of it climbing out or climbing over. And of course I'll have the ceilings on top as well, so I can get Argents in there. I can kite Argents in and tame birds in there as well. Yeah, so the upgrade from the trike to the Stegosaur is almost akin to the upgrade from stone tools to metal tools. And berry collecting dinos, I mean, it's required if you want to play the game, you know, not as intended, because you can play the game however you intend, you know, however you want. You can make it so that nobody can tame dinosaurs. That's an option. I don't know why you would choose that. You know, I think that's 50% of the fun of the game. But, you know, if you're looking for a new challenge or whatever. I wonder what dinosaurs would have tasted like. Like, it almost about looks like if you chopped it up real nice and put some seasonings on it and roasted it over a fire or something. I mean, it looks like it could potentially be pretty delicious. Or maybe I'm just hungry and everything looks good right now. There we go. So that wasn't too bad. Level 190. So not a whole lot of points were wasted in oxygen, so that's really nice. Melee damage is okay, health is okay. So if I went into the Dodo Dex and input its level and the stats that it got knocked out with, like its health and stamina and everything, it would then show me as a result how good of a stag it actually is. And just based off eyeballing it, I'm pretty sure this is a pretty decent Stegosaur. Above average for its level. Its food is awfully high. I would have liked to have seen some of the points from the food into more, you know, melee damage. So that barrel roll that I'm doing, that's that C attack, but it also boosts you, so it makes you go faster, but it takes a good chunk of stamina to use it. Yeah, now that I got the Pteranodon, I'll be leaving Sanctuary Island more often. Right now I'm kind of scouting around a little bit to see if I can see any raptors running around, because now I'm in the market for a Velociraptor. 2 or 3 Velociraptors to be precise, if I can find high enough leveled ones. Yeah, sometimes you'll see Velociraptors up there, and you'll see them going into that river. So that's not too bad. Mastercraft Chin leggings. Yeah, so I'm going in here a little ways to see if there's any Velociraptors that might look good. There's some Allosaurus. I'm not going to mess with those. Terror birds. Those things will mess you up real quick. When I first encountered a terror bird, I was like, no big deal. And it charged at me and it was way faster than me, and it killed me in like 2 hits. Yeah, if you approach a beacon and it doesn't show you right away, just kind of move around it. Otherwise, like, right when the beacon lands, oftentimes it takes like 5 seconds for the option to open it presents itself. So the Mastercraft hatchet is a big win. That's a very nice beacon, or hatchet. Better Beacons 2.0. Checking on the vegetables, vegetables. So I got a decent amount in there. And the Stegosaur likes vegetables. The Stegosaur likes vegetables quite a bit. The only thing it likes more than vegetables is kibble. And I don't know off the top of my head which egg you need to make the Stego kibble. But I'm not worried about it. I'm not going for a perfect tame. Vegetables will do just fine. And that's not going to be enough vegetables to feed a level 190, so I'll have to supplement the rest of what it eats with berries, unfortunately. But I got enough vegetables in there where it's going to make a pretty good difference. And one thing to note about feeding dinos, whether they be already tamed and you're just feeding it, or if it's knocked out and you're feeding it to tame it, it will choose its favorite food over others. So let's say I put the berries inside of that Stegosaurus first, and then I put vegetables in it. It should automatically start eating the vegetables over the berries because it prefers the vegetables. So you can see it's going through the vegetables really fast. So I was actually really close to it running out of food to eat, but now I got a bunch of major berries in there, so she'll be fine. That first trike that you get, or at least that, you know, I go for the trike first, that's my first tame, it always kind of ends up being a relic, because I don't want to just kill it once I get the Stegosaur. Like, I want to keep it around at least for the eggs. But, you know, 100 hours from now, looking at that trike, it'd be like, wow, I've had that thing since the very beginning. This thing is ancient. A loyal friend. I'll probably keep her around. Keep the trike around. Just for the eggs. There's no reason to use it any longer once I get the stag for berries or thatch. The stag is pretty good at getting thatch. Not the best, but pretty decent. Way better than using the pickaxe on trees. So, one of the ways that I try to organize the different storage boxes is by the different categories. Like, one of my categories for what should go in a storage box is equipment, like extra armor, saddles, those go in the same box. And it kind of evolves later on, but in general, another storage box will be building supplies. Rock, thatch, wood, fiber, stuff like that. Another box will be for like narcotics and appetizers, and what would be another box? Weapons. I'll have a storage box for extra weapons. So just, you know, kind of figure out for yourself how you like to organize things. That way you know where to find stuff and where to put stuff away. So I've finally created a decent amount of fertilizer. I'm going to try to put one fertilizer into each crop plot, and then as I get more fertilizer, I'll just keep adding them. So now that I got the ball rolling with that, I should not need to put poop inside the crop plots ever again. Hopefully I can just keep on putting more and more and more fertilizer into them. With dung beetles, you actually get so much fertilizer that you just end up throwing it away. And the dung beetles create oil as well. So you take the oil out of them, you take the fertilizer out of them, and you just dump the fertilizer and take the oil, so that can produce more. Having max wild dino level at 300, it's a blessing and a curse, because on the bright side, you have higher level dinos to tame. And on top of that, with taming effectiveness, you could potentially get a level 500 dino. But on the negative side, you really gotta be prepared to fight a lot of high level dinos, especially when you go into caves. I mean, you don't want to bring a level 150 raptor into a cave that could potentially be flooded with level 250s and 300s. So it can kind of knock you off your guard a little bit. My main focus or philosophy with taming is quality over quantity, unless you're trying to get a certain type of egg. We talked about this already, but the scorpions, for example, it's not their actual name. The scorpions, I always tame about 6 or 7 females so I can get scorpion eggs, because the scorpion eggs allow you to make kibble for T-Rex. So that's one example of when I would go quantity over quality. There's a really nice chart, egg flow chart is what they call it, on the Gamepedia website, art.gamepedia.com or whatever it is. It shows you what eggs you need to make kibble for what dinosaur. It's a very simple to understand diagram of what eggs you're going to want to get for different types of dinos that you want to get. I think I'm going to end up getting a feeding trough soon, so I can just dump some excess berries and meat into it, so I don't have to worry about making sure that all my dinos are fed well. Oh, and another thing, I made a mistake on a previous video. I said 3 stacks of thatch and the rest poop to make the most amount of fertilizer. I'm actually pretty sure now that it's 6 stacks of thatch. So 600 thatch and the rest poop, and 1 compost bin to make the most amount of fertilizer. Vegetables rot very fast in your inventory and even inside storage crates. So don't just take vegetables out of the crop plots just to take them out of the crop plots, unless you got a preserving bin or a refrigerator that you plan on throwing the vegetables into right away. Because until you get the greenhouse, it takes a while to grow a copious amount of vegetables, more vegetables than you need. So we gotta listen to the tune twice today because it's a celebration. We got the Stegosaur and the Pteranodon. Can you imagine what party would play this type of music? Not the type of party I'd like to be at. Some Spanish club music or something. The spoiled meat is worth the pain. Yeah, look how quick that is. Almost got her. Poor Mrs. Shady. So alone and sad. We'll get her a guy at some point, maybe. 2 shit pigs are better than 1. I guess. Maybe not. I might just go straight for the dung beetles and forget about the Phiomia. Phiomia becomes obsolete once you get that the 2 or 3 dung beetles. The more dung beetles, the merrier. But realistically, you only need 2 or 3. So. Making that Stego saddle. Watch the EXP bar. That should go up a good amount. Not as much as I would have hoped, but I'm spoiled enough with the Beacons 2.0. I hope everyone's enjoying these videos. Just want to bring it up again that if you have any special requests of tutorial videos or anything like that, just let me know. And I'll take it into consideration. Now, if your request is like, yeah, I want you to go kill yourself and lose all your stuff in the middle of the map, then I'm not going to do that. Sorry. Sorry, but not sorry. Yeah, that Pteranodon I got's pretty piggity. I'm a fan. Level 255. I mean, that's pretty decent. Imagine if it were a level 300 when I tamed it. It'd be like level 350, 365, something like that. But now that I have that Pteranodon, I can use it to get raw prime meat very easily. So better than waiting around for a perfect level or an upper tiered level. When you progress from the Trank Arrow to the Trank Dart, things get a bit easier. The Trank Dart, in order to use that, you have to have the long neck rifle. Okay, so that medium backpack requires 2 polymer. Polymer is not that crazy to get. I'm just not going to mess around with it yet. I'll get around to it though. My weight capacity hasn't been a huge problem, so no reason to rush it. What's in it this time? Ooh. Wow, did you see that Ascendant Pike blueprint? Like 650 damage or something like that? That would actually be pretty nice to get at some point. Not that I plan on getting into too many close encounters with crazy wild dino killing machines, but Alright, so it's coming along nicely, slowly but surely. I could probably use another couple of appetizer. Finish it up a little bit. Yeah, so not a bad set of armor. 2 pieces of ascendant gear. I mean, nothing's standard anymore, so everything's at least above average quality. $617.7 damage. Yeah, that's pretty hardcore, actually. I'll just build that. Okay, look at how many. It takes 798 metal ingots, 1,596 hide, and 800 wood. And that's the price of building ascendant gear. It's not cheap. Which I think is fair. I think ascendant stuff should be expensive. Yeah, so the quickest way to make appetizer is to put charcoal in your inventory, and then you get on your trike or your stegosaur to collect berries. That way you can just take the stim berries and, what are they, azul berries out and build them while you're collecting more berries. Efficiency is the name of the game. She's munching. 94.9%. So taming effective is at 90%, and that's going to give me a plus 85 levels once it's tamed. So pretty damn good. If you don't have the appetizer mod, chances are is that your taming effectiveness won't be nearly as good, because it's going to take you longer, much longer to tame things, and the longer you're taming it, the less effectiveness there is. Okay, so the Stegosaur, it collects berries by swinging its tail. And thatch. The wood it collects is pretty negligible, and depending on where you're looking when you initiate its tail strike will alter which direction the Stegosaur actually swings its tail. So you can like aim its tail to the left or the right. So when you're fighting something, you're going to be kind of turned sideways. The flank of the Stego will be kind of facing towards the enemy. Preferably, your enemy will be directly behind you, because then no matter which way you swing your tail, it will hit it. Look at all those berries. I can carry a shitload more weight than the trike, too. Look at that. So I'm taking out all the stim berries and the zool berries to create a bulk amount of appetizer. Then I'll dump the red and the yellow berries and all the seeds. I'll probably dump the major berries too, because I don't really need them. Yeah, so you saw how long that took, taking out those plants with the stag. Look how many stacks of narco berries I got. What was that, about 5? 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 stacks of narco berries in what, 20 seconds? With the trike, it took probably twice as long. So, pretty big upgrade. Next level up is the Brontosaur. Wow, I mean that 17 appetizers is really quick. I have to leave the door open, otherwise Gremlin will scratch at it and wake up my wife. So now I'm coming over here, and that's the wrong little chunk of islands. I saw at level 230, Ankylo I think it was. So I'm just making sure it's still there and it didn't fall in the water and drown or get eaten by a Megalodon. And of course it's pitch black out. There he is. Getting the trike back to the base and kind of out of the way, because I don't really have any use for her anymore other than collecting her eggs. Berries weigh a surprising amount. Once you start collecting a lot of narco berries and other types of berries, you'll find out real quick that you can't carry a whole lot on your person unless you dumped a ton of points into your weight attribute when you level up. I'm gonna see if I can't go get that Ankylo in the taming pen. Hopefully this one will go a little bit smoother, right? That Stegosaur was a little bit of a pain. So, trying to line up the gate so I can angle it into the gateway. And I learned my lesson from that Stegosaur. Those trees can be quite the obstacle for kiting a dino into a taming pen. So it's going to be a little tricky because there's multiple Ankylos. So it's going to pretty much be 100% certain that when I try to kite the higher level Ankylo in, that the other ones are going to flip out and be pissed at me for shooting their friend. And they'll actually, you'll see how I kind of maneuver with how things glitch through. Yeah, so the male Ankylo went into the water, which is super not ideal, especially because I remember seeing a Megalodon close to these parts. Super sketchy. There's the Megalodon. And he's going after the Phiomia. Thank you, Phiomia. And who said their only use was pooping? They also make great decoys. So I kind of slid my raft underneath its feet. Right? See, I'm worried if I wanted to shoot it to kind of bring it more close to this side of the taming pen, but I was worried if I did that, that'd piss off the ankylo on the outside of the taming pen and that would cause problems for me. So I'm just going to try to maneuver the taming pen out without knocking the ankylo through the wall. Success. A little bit of rubber banding. The game didn't like me doing that. Yeah, I didn't input any cheats or anything like that. It's a honest to God glitch that's in the game that if you can use it, why not? I never get the Carno saddle. I think the Carno is just a poor man's T-Rex. I'd rather just save it for the T-Rex. Alright, see you on day 10.